Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Our game's home run derby tonight at 7 on 100.7 The Score. You'll the game itself tomorrow at 6 from the Rangers ballpark there in Arlington. All right, the Major League Baseball draft got started last night with the first and second round. 3 Big 12 players going in the first round, Jamie. J.J. Weatherholt, Carson Binge, and Kalen Culpepper. Culpepper, the shortstop from Kansas State, goes to Minnesota with the 21st pick. Carson Binge, an outfielder from Oklahoma State, goes to the Mets with the 19th pick. And the 7th overall pick, Weatherholt, the shortstop from West Virginia, goes to the St. Louis Cardinals. Not probably surprised by any of those guys being selected in the first round.
No, all 3 great players.
Anybody that... And then in the second round, Peyton Toll, a left-handed pitcher from TCU, goes to Boston. And then it's interesting, in the Big 12 release that they sent out about players from the Big 12 that have been drafted, they say this: additionally, Texas's Jared Thomas, who played in the Big 12 during the 2024 season, was selected by Colorado at number 42 overall. I just thought that was kind of interesting how they worded that.
Yeah, awkward, but it's fair to say he played in the Big 12.
It's factual, right? Yeah, it's factual. What's your take for the Red Raiders in this draft, and who might get picked, and how far down they go?
Kyle Robinson is definitely going to be one of the guys that I would think is high on your list. Kevin Bizzell would be high on the list as well. Those are the 2 that I think would have the chance to go today in rounds 3 through 10.
They were talking to the Rangers. I don't know what his exact title was.
I loved the Rangers draft yesterday.
Okay.
I mean, the 2 guys that they took, really, really good college baseball players, and Malcolm Moore, a left-handed hitting catcher from Stanford, who I think is a terrific offensive player. It'll be interesting to see if he always plays catcher. I just think he's a really good offensive guy, and so I don't know if you want him squatting all that much, but a really good hitter. And then Dylan Dreiling from Tennessee. I mean, those 2 look like guys that won't be too long before they would have a chance to make it to the big leagues. And,
I think the strategy now for these teams is maybe a little bit, especially as you get deeper into the draft, it's like, and the players, some of these players may have a decision to make. It's like, okay, is it better for me to start my professional career, or is it better for me to stay in college another year and take my NIL money? And
depends which college you're playing for.
Yeah, right. And then the other thing too is that the guy from the Rangers yesterday on the pregame show, he was saying, well, he goes, as you get longer into the draft, that becomes less of an issue, because some of those guys may not be making anything, and what you're going to pay them may be more, but then there's going to be a point in time, like in this early portion, where it's more beneficial for the player to go to start his professional career.
You're talking about first-round pick.
The first few rounds is...
Many of those guys are making millions.
Sure. First few rounds is completely different than what you have in terms of, maybe when you get into the later stages of the draft, where the player may go, well, it's really better for me to stay in school than to move on. Speaking of Tennessee, the Red Raiders get a transfer from Tennessee, Jamie.
Yeah, Robin Villanueva, who's big hitter. That's what you're looking for, a guy to add pop. Played JUCO ball at Weatherford, so he's been in Texas before, and adds maybe whether be corner outfield depth, DH depth, whatever. Another big bat for you. So looks like he would his style would play well at Rip Griffin Park.
Have you been encouraged by what you've seen in terms of some of these transfers that Tech has gotten? Just overall, kind of 25,000 foot view.
I'm a little saddened. a little bit because you've had to cut loose a bunch of high school commits that have been committed to you for however long, and that's not what I love seeing the program have to do. But that's the way college baseball goes now, and that's what you have to do. I think you've made some good additions to the team, absolutely, that'll make you better than you were before you had them on the roster. You've definitely gotten older compared to last year. You've brought in a lot of pitching depth. I don't think any of it first-round talent or anything like that, but that we know of. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see how a guy develops. But I think a lot of times you're seeing guys hit the portal and people, fans are like, okay, well, this guy just left LSU. Let's go get him. That guy's probably going to command, $1 million in NIL money, and that's just not where you are as a program. And so I think you've added a lot of good pieces. I really do. I really do. So I'm excited about the additions and what they can mean to this team. And as I said earlier, I think you've gotten older, and I think that was really important last year, where you were maybe relying too much on young guys, and I think the strategy or the style, whatever you want to call it, has changed a little bit, and realizing, okay, we're gonna have to change and play the portal game. And unfortunately, I just hate it for these kids, but it's not just here. It's going on all across the country.
It's everywhere,
these kids that have been, committed to a program are being told, hey, we really don't have a spot for you anymore. And it just...
Or you can come, but the likelihood of you making the team is not very high.
Yeah, or we don't have the money that we had promised you, or
any of those things. Yeah,
it's going around across college baseball, and I saw one article where it was saying that, the good coaches are telling kids now, listen, I don't think you're going to have a spot to play. And so they have a chance to go connect and jump on somewhere else, where some programs are saying, yeah, come on, and then we'll just cut 20 guys at the end of December. And that's not what people want either. So
it doesn't seem fair to the young man.
Yeah, I hate the whole process for the high school kids now, but it is what it is, right? That's where we're at.
6:39 this morning here on the Morning Drive. This Day in Sports History is next on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. We'll take your thoughts continuously on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It is presented by Happy State Bank.
This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Sports history today is July the 15th, 2024. Here's Jeff McGuire with This Day in Sports History.
Going to start in 1901. New York Giant Chrisley Mathewson no hits the St. Louis 5-0.
St. Louis Browns?
I don't know if it was the Browns or the Cardinals. It just says St. Louis, which is why I just said St. Louis.
Okay.
1912, American athlete Jim Thorpe is placed in the top 4 of all 10 events for an Olympic record 8,413 points in the decathlon, winning the gold medal at the Stockholm Olympics.
Wow.
Oh,
pretty impressive.
Top 4 for all 10 events.
Correct.
Wow.
1921.
And you're the big Jim Thorpe,
supporter.
You carry his honor and badge and torch for him.
Took him to 83 to fix it.
Seems dumb.
See? This is why.
Yeah.
1921, New York Yankee slugger Babe Ruth ties the Major League record of 138 career home runs held by Roger Connor since 1895.
138.
It was a 7-2 win over the St. Louis Browns at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis.
I wonder if the commissioner was there to celebrate things. I wonder if they even knew.
Well, I'm sure somebody knew.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 1960, Baltimore's future baseball Hall of Famer, third baseman Brooks Robinson goes 5 for 5, including the cycle in an Orioles 5-2 win over the Chicago White Sox.
It's a good day.
And the Rangers will take on the Orioles this weekend.
1973, California Angel Nolan Ryan gets his second no-hitter, beats the Detroit Tigers 6-0. 1980, Johnny Bench hits his 314th home run as a catcher, which breaks Yogi Berra's all-time record.
Surely Piazza broke that.
I think both Piazza and Pudge did. I could be wrong.
I don't remember how many home runs Pudge hit.
Hang on. I'll bet my phone is about to tell me.
Oh, Chuck's about to tell you.
1996, after 2,216 consecutive games at shortstop, Cal Ripken plays third.
Okay.
I was hoping one of you would say, oh, the streak ends today. No, he just moved to third.
Pudge had 311 all totaled.
So 3 short.
Jamie is right. Mike Piazza has hit the most as a catcher with 399.
One away from 400. That's disappointing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Feels like I remember when Gary Carter and hit 300, got his 300th, and it was a big deal. And now I just think about how more offensive catchers are. How many does your guy for the Royals have? Seems like his number's got to be,
I would think,
getting close to 300.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Salvador.
Yeah, Perez.
Gary Carter hit 324. I don't know how many as a catcher, but because he played some other positions. He didn't ever play in the American League, so he was never a designated hitter guy. So maybe all 324 as a catcher, unless he pinch hit something.
And in 2011, former Red Raider Josh Tomlin gets the win after going 5 innings, walking 1, and surrendering 6 hits in a 6-5 Indians victory over the Red Sox. It is National Orange Chicken Day.
Out.
Really? You're the first person I've ever heard say that.
Orange chicken?
Orange chicken.
I mean, I had some Saturday night. It was really good.
Like, is it flavored? Is it?
Yeah, it's an orange sauce that you basically. I don't even.
Is it like the Alabama chicken? Is that what you're kind of talking?
No, it's more Chinese food. Oh, it's fantastic. You are the first person I've ever heard not like it.
I don't even have to dip it in ketchup. It's so good, Chuck.
Really? Wow.
It's also National Gummy Worm Day.
I'm out on the gummy worms. I just hate that. It just clings to your teeth.
I ate a lot of gummy bears yesterday. A lot.
Wow.
Long drive and gummy bears keep me awake when I'm driving.
Hopefully they weren't flavored. I mean, they were flavored, but not.
Yes, they were flavored.
Why
would you say
he's talking about the
not
other thing?
Flavored?
Maybe
he's talking about the other thing.
I want to make sure they're legal gummy bears. When we're talking about you, I know. I was trying to be funny. Sorry.
Yes.
Failed.
I wouldn't want an unflavored gummy bear.
Happy birthday to Gabriel Iglesias, who's 48.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Gabriel Iglesias?
He is a comedian, very large Hispanic man. You might know him as Fluffy.
I do not know anybody is fluffy or furry or anything like that.
He is hilarious.
Okay.
Damian Lillard is 34.
I know who he is.
Forrest Whitaker, 63. Brian Austin Green is 51. Adam Savage from Mythbusters is 57. And Barry Melrose, hockey reporter for ESPN, is 68. And today was a red letter day in Jamie Lent's life.
Really?
2006. Like, this might be the Hall of Fame moment for Jamie in 2006.
Do you know what this is, Jamie?
I do not.
San Francisco-based company Ordo officially releases TWTTR. Later, it would be changed to Twitter. It was a short messaging service for groups to use to the public. Born as a simple side project with their main podcasting platform, the free application allowed users to share short status updates with groups of friends by sending one text message to a single number. That number was 40404. Over the next few years, as TWTTR became Twitter, the simple microblogging service would explode in popularity, especially with one Jamie Lent becoming one of the world's leading social network platforms.
Can't get enough.
And that is this day in sports.
I don't hate Twitter. I hate how people use it.
Wow. How about that? 2006.
Really just social media as a whole. I don't want to just blame it all on Twitter.
Hey, 6:52 this morning here on the Morning Drive. I did want to get your. I did have a question for you. One of the questions that I have for you today is, what was your reaction? Just what was your honest reaction when you got the communique that Texas Tech is going to compete in the 2025 Las Vegas Baseball Classic? Like, you weren't even back from Las Vegas yet, and you already have another trip scheduled.
I just assumed it was coming, so it really wasn't anything.
Okay.
I didn't know that it was coming, but I knew that you weren't going to Arlington, and I knew that you weren't going to Houston.
Okay.
And so I assumed that would be the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you leave anything behind in Vegas so that when you go back you'll be able to pick it up, like in a locker or anything? Is there anything that you like, any mementos that I'll get it on my next trip?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
My integrity, my honor.
I mean, I got to admit, I mean, when I saw that, I just immediately thought of you, going, kind of all the places to send Jamie back to, and he's not even back from there yet. And they announced that you're going back in February of next year. There you go.
There I go.
You can't stay away.
I can't.
You're attracted to the desert. Texas Tech, along with the Texas Longhorns, can't get away from those guys either. The University of Illinois and the University of Washington. All right, that'll be just for the next baseball season, starting on February the 28th. Okay. Just before 7.
The baseball season will start before February 28th.
To start like what, mid-February?
2 weeks before that.
Yeah, 15th,
I think.
14th, okay.
Yeah.
And then you'll be off to Vegas again. So there you go. You can see what you can discover that you haven't already discovered. You can find that milkshake.
I'll discover Red Raider baseball. That's what I'll discover.
6:55 this morning here on the Morning Drive.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Thank you for being with us today on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. It's almost football season. I mean, some could say it's here. You got NFL teams that will start with their rookie camp. I think the Ravens' rookie camp starts today. Texas Tech will report on July the 31st for their first game that will start on August the 31st when they take on Abilene Christian. What did you think of the back and forth between Kirby Hocutt and TCU's athletic director?
Boy, that's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think it's cheesy how TCU is doing everything they can not to keep the Red Raiders from being in their stadium, but I guess in their situations that's what they feel they have to do.
Yeah,
it's best for their football team, I guess, or maybe it's embarrassing to see so much red there. I don't know, but I guess I didn't think too much about it. I just think it's, I don't know, seems a little small.
By TCU?
Yeah. If you just have your fans buy out the tickets, you don't have a problem.
Right.
It's really on their fans.
This all started with Kirby going on X to say, we can fill your stadium too if you'll let us. Kirby quoted in the AJ over the weekend. He was asked about it. He said, just trying to help TCU sell tickets. He said that with a laugh, okay?
Of course.
He said, obviously they need help in filling their stadium, and Red Raider Nation would be happy to help them do it for when the Red Raiders roll in. For whatever reason, they seem to be reluctant to open up single game sales for our game, just trying to be a helpful Big 12 partner to them. then he went on to say this: they're trying to drive revenue and interest in their program, so they make the decisions that are best for them. But if you're leaving open seats, you're leaving revenue on the table. And I know our fans would love to be there and attend a game. If they can't sell them, we can. Yeah. And I'm sure that
I would be interested to know how that's all, if it ends up being a positive or a negative for them, because I'm certain there are people that will buy the 3-game pack that they're trying to push you to, and ultimately it ends up selling more seats for those other games that were going to be empty too. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, do the marketing financial people at TCU feel like, hey, this is going to ultimately be better for us? And it's not, even if there are a few seats less sold during the Texas Tech game, does that mean because there will be some Red Raiders that buy all 3 that ultimately it'll end up being more tickets sold combined for the 3 games? I don't know the numbers. I have no idea.
Somebody's tried to do the math on that, so
sure.
certainly. But man,
I'm just glad that as a fan base and as a school, we're not in that situation as an athletic department where we have to worry about other people coming in and taking over our stadium. We don't have to worry about that. That's a tip of the cap to Red Raider fans. That's obviously your team and your program and your coach and your players and all that and make people want to come. So that's part of it. Yes. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. So they deserve some credit too, but our fans show up and we don't have to worry about this.
Yeah, and it's not like unheard of to have to buy one of the non-conference less competitive games if you want to get a single game ticket for the big marquee game. I mean, we've seen that at Tech for years. It hasn't happened that way in a while. But if you wanted the A&M game, you also had to get the North Texas game. It was a 2-game package.
Yes.
You couldn't just get the one. This is not... what they're doing isn't unheard of.
Right.
I remember buying in 2009 in Houston, you had to buy the three game to go see the Red Raiders play, I did.
In Houston?
In Houston, yeah.
The difference is...
And I sold the other 2 and made money off it.
We never were upset if somebody bought the Texas and North Texas game package if they were from Austin. They were free to buy it just like the Red Raider fans were at the time. The TCU change is that they don't want the Red Raiders buying it. They want just and they're actively saying that.
Yeah. I think the difference for us is when it was being done here, we're talking almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, we weren't doing that because we were wanting... okay, maybe I should ask the question. Were we doing that to keep A&M fans out?
I think we were doing that. I don't know that we were doing it to keep A&M fans out. I think we were trying to bolster the other 2 games or the other game because we were packaging some games up. I mean, again,
so it wasn't about keeping A&M fans out. TCU's decision is made to keep Red Raiders.
Yeah, I think our decision, and again, we're talking 25, 30 years ago.
It's hard for me to believe that we wouldn't have had a great crowd for a Texas A&M game.
Well, those early to mid 90 years,
whatever at the time we were selling, that was going to be one of the higher ones.
Well, no question. But I mean, I think they were trying to bolster the other two. That's it wasn't about necessarily keeping the A&M fans out or maybe the Longhorn fans out. Or at least actively like TCU is doing it. But
I don't know that we are capable of answering this question, but. For our resident,
this could be a large list.
No.
Here.
For our resident Oklahoma fans, for our resident Longhorns and A&M fans that listen to us on a semi-regular basis because they live here in the city of Lubbock and enjoy what we do. Were at the time, do you guys feel like you were being held out of that game because of that? Because that's who you'd have to ask. While we don't think that's the case, we are definitely wearing scarlet-colored glasses.
Yeah, that's a question for them.
Hence why I just asked.
Right? No, I got you.
Like Syntax Hank, I'm sorry, Sooner in Lubbock. Did he ever feel like he was being gypped if he had to buy the North Texas game?
Salted Hank.
I didn't mean Hank. I
accused him of being Sooner a non-Red Raider.
Definitely stopped and went back and said Sooner in Lubbock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hank.
Yeah. All right, 7:21 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thought, comment, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that. Another thing from the HA this weekend with regard to the 2027 schedule. As of right now, they're keeping the North Texas game in Denton on that schedule, which means that as of right now, you have just 6 home games at Jones Stadium for the 2027 season. And so apparently Kirby Hocutt has visited with Joey McGuire about that, and they want to keep that game now in Denton. And he says we would count that as our 7th home game because of the alumni base in Dallas-Fort Worth.
It's a little weird.
Yeah, I know, right.
I mean, you're not making money off of it. That's kind of...
Unless they say to North Texas, hey, we'll give you a piece of the action. We're going to include that as a...
we're giving them all of the action. It's their stadium.
Right.
We don't get a choice in that.
Right. So anyway, they feel like that they'll dominate the stadium that day, and so right now their intention is to play that game.
That's very
2027.
It's very. I'm not saying it's not accurate because I'm sure there will be a ton of Red Raider fans there, but that is a very arrogant comment.
To say that it's
we're just gonna assume that's like a home game for us.
Yeah, he said we would count that as our 7th home game. That's what he said. That's what he said in the paper. He also said, Coach McGuire and I have talked about it. North Central Texas is Red Raider country, right? ? We will dominate that stadium that day. So right now our intentions are to continue to honor the contract and turn Denton, Texas into Red Raider country that day. Obviously something we'll continue to evaluate, but right now that's our intention. Okay?
Let's go. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Because I, unlike Chuck, think there are a ton ofRed Raider fans in the Metroplex.
No, I do. I think there are as well.
Games.
I think there are as well.
You didn't at one point.
I just don't like the fact that we've catered to them when we need.
But you were making the point that so much is made. I don't know that they sell all those
a lot,
games.
and then they don't show up, and then they go to their softball games, their kids' baseball games, or gymnastics events, or dance recitals, or
just like fans here sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. But it's like we don't necessarily need to cater to them. I'm really, and I understand it. And I said this the other day when basically it looks like it's going to be announced. I'm really disappointed the Aggie Red Raider basketball game is going to be played in Fort Worth. I just assume they not play it at all, but I get it. I mean, it's a business decision. The A&M made one by going to Vegas to be in a tournament that's going to help pay their players, and we're going to go to Fort Worth because it's probably more valuable for us from a money-making standpoint to play there than not play that game at all, which would probably be the case because A&M basically reneged on their deal.
Yeah, it's just my question is so you can't do it at that date when you had initially signed on to do it, but you can play on this other date. Well, why can't you play it in Lubbock on that day?
Right. That's the question I have, too. 7:25, Jamie's question of the day is next.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, very simple question for you. It is a 2-part question. Tell me what your prediction was for the Red Raider football team before Big 12 Media Days, and tell me if it has changed at all. One of us has been prone to changing based on talk. One of us, or the others, maybe are a little bit harder to sway.
That's fair.
We kind of already know where one of us is at. Now, the question is, has he changed since, I think, Thursday last week?
No. I had the Red Raiders finishing 5th in my preseason Big 12 media poll that we did here amongst our cadre of guys. Okay.
Okay. I'm just looking for like a schedule or a record, I mean.
Well, I did go from 8-4 to 9-3.
Okay.
So I'm
based on
just feeling good.
Okay.
I think the health of Baron Morton, is critical, and we all know this. I mean, we've been saying this for months. I think the other thing that stood out to me, and he mentioned this to you, Tim DeRuiter did, way back in April, maybe even, it was May, the first Monday in May, about the depth of the defense, and I think we saw more of that.
But that happened. I mean, he said that a long time ago.
I know, but I mean, there was reiteration of that, a little bit more, expounding of that from the players themselves and from guys I heard. So yeah, I guess I moved the needle a little bit.
Jeff,
I am still at 8-4, before and after. I liked hearing that Baron Morton is 100% healthy, but until Joey Maguire is no longer the head coach at Texas Tech, after a long and successful career in national championships in 30 years that we will be celebrating here.
30? He's going to be coaching until he's 80?
He's going to be coaching forever, and that's just, that's all at Texas
Let's
Tech.
go, right?
It's going to be awesome. When the word quarterback comes out of his mouth, I immediately go, okay, we'll see.
Couldn't you say that about almost every coach that we've had here the last 4 or 5?
Well, Joey Maguire's going to be here for the next 30 years, so we're discussing it with him right now. When he says the word quarterback, I can tune out because they have proven over the last 3 years that they're going to say one thing and do another.
Wow.
When we see Baron Morton healthy against Washington State in week 2 and performing well, then I will start to believe that he's 100% healthy. But until I see it with my own eyes, I like hearing it more than not hearing it. But it's not going to sway me in any direction with regards to a positive story about health of a quarterback in the offseason. I did, however, like hearing that they're going after the record with Taj Brooks. And that leads me to believe that they're not going to forget that he's on the football team like you had a couple of instances last year.
Didn't sound to me like they were going after the record. It sounded to me like they pretty much guaranteed they're going to get the record. I was nervous about that, the way they were saying that.
Yeah.
Just like I felt like there was like some, oh, man, slow down a little bit. Like we could be putting the,
cart before the horse?
There you go.
Yeah.
Something like that. I was conservatively at 7-5 because of the nervousness of the Baron Morton situation, and that it had been that long, and he wasn't back to 100%. And so I was, like I said, 7-5, feeling like I'm just going to be conservative there, and I've bumped it up to 8-4. Jeff, you said you're not going to trust Joey Maguire when he said quarterback. It was Baron Morton that said he's healthy. That comes out of Baron Morton's mouth. And what did Baron Morton tell us earlier this year? I'm not healthy. It still hurts. And guess what? He was right. Okay? He was honest. And he's now saying, I'm 100%. I can throw when I want to throw. I can throw this many times. I can do this. I can air it out right now if you want me to.
I'm not calling him a liar.
Okay, well, you're saying you saying I don't trust Joey Maguire. Baron Morton's the one that said it.
Right. I'm not calling Morton a liar. I'm saying I need to see it against Washington State in week 2.
Well, let's see it in week 1 too.
Yeah,
it's less needed for week 1 compared to week 2. I expect Baron Morton. My hope is that Baron Morton only plays the first quarter in week 1. That you're up by enough after that.
Mm-hmm. I just and then your second comment about the Taj Brooks thing. I just want to see a way more well-rounded offense this year. I don't want it to be all about Taj Brooks as much as I like Taj and love the fact that he came back. I just want you to be better in the passing game. Yeah, I want to see Coach Kitley have a reason to throw it more this year.
Yeah, I mean, your receiving group is going to be, on paper right now going in, better.
We think
better.
Again, you just made a statement like it was a fact.
No. On paper,
it's going to be. You said
on paper. Yeah. Well, on paper, it's better. I was trying to come up with the word
better,
exponentially better. But I mean, I was stumbling over that word.
We don't know. But, did any of us sit here last year and go, man, Our wide receivers are going to be bad next year.
No, we were
confident in the wide receiving core.
That was one group we were like, well, I'm really confident about that, you know. But I mean, you do feel better about. I think you feel better about the receiving group. Sounds like they feel better about the receiving group now. You know, we haven't heard anybody come out and say the strength of this team is going to be the offensive line like we did last year. That proved to maybe be more from the running game standpoint than the pass protection standpoint. So, you know, but I'm with you. I mean, I don't necessarily want to just go after a record just to say you got a record, because, you know, there's a lot of things that go with that record. I mean, you got a guy playing in his 5th year, and Byron Hanspard played 3, and, you know, number of carries for one versus another one, you know.
That factors in none to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go, I mean, if Taj Brooks getting the record is helping you win games,
yeah,
that's what I want you to do.
Sure.
And that's what I expect Joey McGuire and Zach Kitley will be doing. I'm just saying I would like to see a more balanced offense. I think that gives you a better chance to win games. That's not a knock on Taj or Coach Kitley's play calling or anything like that. It's a knock on you weren't good in the passing game last year.
Yeah.
And that, to me, it was mostly about the guys that you had on the field and just not, you know, quarterback not being healthy, wide receivers being busts just all over the place, and not having a great offensive line. And we're all hoping, at least I am, I'm just going to say hoping. I'm not guaranteeing anything. But we're all hoping all of that's better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
For being with us today, Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you this morning from the First United Bank studio. Look forward to hearing from you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too, 806-771-0973. If you care to comment, if anything spectacular happened this weekend, or, you know, unfortunately disastrous, you know, happened this weekend. You were trying to put up a new ceiling fan or something and it just didn't go your way. That wasn't not my case. I mean, I would never attempt to try to fix anything or put anything together, because I'm an epic failure on that kind of stuff.
I don't think that a ceiling fan malfunction or droppage would be in the category of disaster.
Disastrous. Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Disastrous is like I lost a loved one, or I wrecked my car, or you know, ceiling fan mishap.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of people have had those. I don't know that falls to the disaster category.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're like newborn infant was underneath the fan when it fell.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably a disaster.
Disaster.
Because your wife beat you.
like a drum, you know, something along those lines. You know, I don't know. No, I don't even think I even attempted to try to fix anything this morning. This weekend. I think I just mowed my yard.
Everything was perfect.
Washed off my deck. I mean, that's
if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Chuck.
Well, or get somebody else to do it. I mean, that's. I mean, it's a skill set that I just don't have. I mean, I try to do stuff from time to time. There are times, like if I ever fix something, you'll know it. Okay, I'll let you know, because I know that you really want to know that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean,
I know that you want to know.
I probably could just go to Facebook and find out, right?
Maybe sometimes, and not everything's there. Not everything's there, but I mean, occasionally. I'm not like completely active right now. I'm not unactive. I mean, I don't think I put anything up.
I think your boss tells you have to be, doesn't he?
Right, yeah, I'm supposed to be. Right, I'm on there.
You're a good company man.
It was a requirement of my employment, so that's what I'm saying.
How come our boss didn't require me to do it?
I don't know. With regard to the Scottish Open, thank you for this texture, and I didn't have this fully in my brain. McIntyre makes an eagle on the hole where he got the drop, which was 16, but that's not why that's why he won. Okay. But it's not why Aberg lost. Aberg lost because he shot a 73. You can't shoot 73 on a closing day. And he's had trouble finishing. I mean, he's year one. So, I mean, you know, there's plenty of guys that would love to be in his position that he's been in. He's just not been able to get over the hump. And, it could be a little bit unlucky. Could be, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, it's nerves all the time. No, sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce the right way for you when you need it to.
Again, like you just said, he's in his first year. I think everybody's confident, and you look at him and feel like, hey, this guy's going to win a lot of championships, a lot of trophies, a lot of money, all the above.
He's won like $11 million.
Yes,
So it's not like he's been unsuccessful.
Right.
I'd love to be unsuccessful and win $11 million, or even, how about $1 million?
Mm-hmm.
How about $500,000? That would be, well, man, he's such a terrible person, a terrible performer, and he made $500,000 this year. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Did you see? I didn't see it. I just read about it. Argentina wins the Copa America final. But, man, what a mess getting into that stadium, the Hard Rock Stadium there in Miami. They had to delay the start of that game 75-plus minutes because fans breached security gates that didn't have tickets. They somehow got in. At a lot of these stadiums now, for especially big events, you've got to have a ticket to even get into the stadium parking lot with some of these facilities. Okay? You've got to have a ticket to the event. They don't want just people just, loitering or tailgating outside the venue because they don't want that. But there were fans, primarily fans, I think both sides, Argentina and Colombia. But Colombia fans jumping over security railings near the southwest entrance of the stadium and running past police and stadium attendants. And then there were people pushed up against the gate. It's a scary situation. They finally kicked the game off at 9:15 Miami time. And Argentina won it, despite the fact that Messi went out with a leg injury and didn't play in the second half.
Gotta tell you, none of that surprises me.
Yeah.
Soccer fans are
passionate group.
Yeah, I hope I'm as passionate about anything in my life as those people are about their soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would there be something you'd be that passionate about?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Tennis or
probably my children's sports.
Yeah, children's sports. If somebody was playing for something big and you were like clamoring to get at the gate, you'd rush the gate.
I don't mean that I'm going to rush the gate.
You don't.
I just mean just have that much passion for it.
Energy and all that kind of. Yeah, yes. Right. All those.
I don't think I'm going to rush the gate to any of my children's sporting events.
Hopefully you don't have to, right?
One of them plays tennis. They don't need gates. Okay. You just come on, one, come all. Yeah. Any fans they can.
Oh
get.
Wow, you're here. Come on in.
Come on in. Do you want to sit at the net?
Yeah. Hey, how's the basketball player doing? Is she doing okay? Is she putting up shots in the heat? Okay.
She's all right.
Yeah, she's all right.
She's hanging in.
She's hanging in there.
She's having a summer.
Having a summer. Okay. Mm-hmm. Making her run and all those kinds of things.
I don't make her do anything.
Okay. She does it all on her own.
You are confused.
No, I'm not confused. I'm just making conversation.
She's doing fine.
Okay. Hey, later on this week, I know you have this circled on your calendar. Okay. July the 19th, the Tech football coaches are going to move into their new offices. Okay. They're going to move out of the suites on the west side.
I'm sure they'll be excited.
And they're going to move into the new offices. I wonder if they have a kind of a little pool going as to who spills the first cup of coffee in Joey McGuire's office or something like that. It's like, oh man, we got a stain already. Or when they're moving stuff in, like watch the walls. They want to make sure they don't scuff anything up going in.
Remember, folks, it wasn't too long ago that somebody thought that the stadium wouldn't be finished in time for the kickoff weekend.
Wasn't me.
I don't.
No,
I'm not in the middle of your two.
No. I never said that. I never said that.
All right, let's blame David Collier then.
Okay.
Yeah, it was David Collier.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.